The biggest challenge facing content marketers today is understanding what it takes to do what they want to achieve. I think there's a lot of great ideas in the content marketing space about how we can use the web, and we can use mobile, and we can use email, and we can use all of these different touch points to drive conversion and drive interaction. The actual achievement of those capabilities is generally harder than I think most content marketers believe it to be.
I think the fundamental challenge that I see is that content is still perceived as a commodity and not as a strategy to drive consumer experiences. If I have to call out specifically 3 foundational challenges, I would say number 1 is that content is still generalized. There's a lack of personalization and contextualization of content. So that's one piece. Second is content is very tightly coupled with channels and devices. It is not agnostic. But with so much proliferation of channels and devices in the industry happening, the brands will only be successful if they are able to decouple content from those dependencies. And I think third is everyone keeps talking about big data and how much data exists and whatnot, but there is not enough emphasis on enabling content testing and optimization. But again, it all boils down to looking at content from a totally different lens, which is absolutely strategic. As a very strong and primary vehicle to drive consumer behavior, consumer engagement, and not just as a commodity that you got to get there for each channel.
So the opportunities in marketing that can be impacted by technology, I think the biggest challenge there is like picking which ones you want to prioritize, because it feels like almost everything has some technical component, from big data to customer experience. If I was going to pick one, I think it was what Mayur said earlier on our panel today, it's this focus on the consumer. So you have your audience, what sort of capabilities can your marketing team leverage to deliver the experience that customers are expecting, whether that's a particular kind of content, whether it's a particular kind of interactivity. Those are the sorts of technologies that I would prioritize to look at.
We have now our CIO reporting into our Chief Marketing Officer. So technology and marketing are now fully joined organizationally, which is a huge shift, but is a really important one. And I think it's been coming for a while. We've seen greater partnership between our CIO and our CMO for the past couple of years, and this really just solidified that. And that's starting to filter down into other levels of the organization.
I think it's from a technology standpoint, there are capabilities now like Adobe's created this web experience management platform where data and content are not isolated, it comes packaged, right? So you don't have to think about capturing data, capturing analytics when somebody comes to your .com experience or somebody comes to your social experience. You're measuring it, and that gives you as a marketer an opportunity to optimize that content, to optimize that experience real time. So there's an evolution that's happening within the technology landscape that is bringing all these pieces together and really providing an ecosystem to the marketer where they can start to play around with creative, start to play around with content, respond to the consumer behavior real time, and add most value to the consumer.